Are you ready for a fun-filled summer with your kiddos? Summer is pivotal to creating lasting memories. And today, we're going to look at some different ways to create that memorable summer, whether you're working or have the time off with your kids. The first thing is to plan now for what you want. And I know that sounds a little bit extreme, but if you wait until summer actually hits, and if you're anything like me, then you'll just let each day happen to you. And before you know it, 2 months has passed. It's already time to go back to school. And I don't want you to be kicking yourself going, what did I do with all that time? I wasted so much time where I could have been, investing and pouring into my kids in such a meaningful way. Now, if you struggle with planning ahead and need some step-by-step guidance on planning out your months, your weeks, and your days, then be sure to check out my 30-minute month, which will help you learn how to save time and effectively make progress towards the life you want in just 30 minutes. Link is below in the description. Now, as much as I would love to just spend every day in the summer sleeping in and doing whatever I want, I am a teacher, so I do get to actually, enjoy summer. I want even more than that to raise my kids well. And this year, I want to be intentional about teaching them life skills. And I've already started making a list of the life skills that I want to work on. And I'm starting now because my kids are old enough where they can follow directions and understand a little bit more. I do still have a 1-year-old, but the other ones I have from 4 to 8. Now, why am I focusing on life skills? You're probably going, you're a mom, like, duh, shouldn't you be teaching that every day? Yes, but in my current season of life, we've had a lot going on. It's been pretty chaotic with my husband being in grad school, and he just wrapped that up. But I haven't had the capacity to show my kids how to cook and how to chop vegetables and how to clean things correctly because I've kind of been pulled in so many directions. But now that our season's a little bit slower and more simple, I really want to focus this time in the summer, kind of catching up on some of that stuff that I've really been wanting to teach them all along. Now, along with planning ahead, that I want to intentionally teach life skills this summer, I've also already signed up my kids for summer camps. So that's another thing where, especially if you're a newer mom and haven't done the camp life yet, I didn't realize that camps filled up very quickly and very early. Like, you just don't realize how early some of these registrations start. Some of them started in February. And so keep an eye out for those camps. Go ahead and see what your schedule looks like so that you can plan what kids go into what camp. I have 4 kids. So we have 3 that can actually go to a camp. And it used to be that I could put them all in the same camp, and it was wonderful because we go to one place, they're gone for, 4 to 8 hours depending on the camp, and they're all gone at the same time. But now that they're older, they have their own interests, which is great. So my daughter's doing gymnastics camp, my son's doing football camp, and then my other son, I think we're going to do gymnastics for him. And so it's really important that you're planning now for when you're going to do the camp and go ahead and signing up for them so that you do have a spot, because like I said, those camps do fill up quicker than you might think. Now, even talking about camps, I'm going, that's a lot of money. And I know some of y'all, it's like you have to do camps all summer long because you still work and you need daycare. And it's a lot. So that's another part of planning ahead now, because summer does get expensive, and we have to be strategic in how we're allocating our money in terms of like what we want to do and what needs to happen, which leads me into my next tip, which is to decide how much money you're going to spend over the summer. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking like, well, I don't want to restrict my kids' fun and like put a cap on how much I can spend. And I feel the same way. But if you're going to go out someplace that charges $10 admission, which I cannot really think of a place that only charges $10, it's usually like $15 to $20 at least, right? So if you have, let's just say for simplicity, $10 admission per person, I have 4 kids, so that's automatically $40 plus if I have to pay for myself, $50. And then we know inevitably they're going to want snacks and drinks, and a lot of places don't let you bring that stuff in. So paying for food and, of course, whatever like souvenirs and things that they want, like easily that can become $100 to $200 just for one outing during your summer. Not to mention camps that we just talked about, which are anywhere from $150 to $300 per kid per week. And I know some of y'all are paying that every single week for the summer. For me, we are not able to do that. That would be just nuts because, again, we have 4 kids. And so even 3 camps that we're paying for, that's almost $600 for us for one camp for the entire summer. A lot of money. So budgeting is helpful to ensure that you don't go into a ton of debt while you're trying to create these memorable summers. Now, what I find kind of fun is having to get creative with what can we do that would be memorable but doesn't require any money. For instance, you could find a creek to go play in instead of paying to go to a splash pad. Or instead of going out to lunch after one of your big outings, then you could just pack a picnic and even like let your kids decide what goes into the picnic and do it all up with the big like checkered blanket and bring a ball or a frisbee that you could play with as well. Now, my next tip for creating a memorable summer with your kids is to set up new routines and expectations. So naturally, what we do during the school year is not going to apply for the summer. And depending on if you work during the summer or not, you might still have to have some sort of a schedule with, I have to be out leaving for work at 6:30. So I've got to make sure I drop my kids off for camp each day. And then we still get back home at 5 and do dinner and all the things. But regardless, some structure is still important as much as we want to just totally kick back and throw everything out the window and go, we're just going to have the best fun summer ever. Structure is still important, especially if you have younger kids, to make sure that you are doing the things that you want to do that are important and that you value. Now, my kids are a little bit older. I do still have, a 1-year-old up to an 8-year-old, but I do have most of my kids are able to be self-sufficient and play on their own and keep each other entertained. So we don't need too strict of a schedule. But I do still want to ensure that they're getting a ton of time outside and that they're not just glued to technology every single day. Because let's be honest, that is a very easy trap to fall into. Now, my summers are like a total overhaul of our routines because I'm a teacher. And so I do work full time, but I do not work over the summer. And so I become like full-time stay-at-home mom during the summer months. And so what our day is going to look like is I'm not going to force my kids to get up at a certain time. So that's kind of where the just kick back and relax part comes in. I will probably still get up around 6 or 7 just so that I have some quiet time for myself because I will be around them all day, every day for 2 months. And then my plan is to do that life skill teaching in the morning when we're not worn out from the day, when people aren't grumpy, like we're fresh, we're good, we can ingest some new information and still have some pretty good attitudes about it. After that, we're probably going to hit up the pool every single day that it's not raining. We have a neighborhood pool that we go to and it's usually pretty chill. So we go there every day, like around 10 o'clock. And then my youngest kid does still take a nap. So I definitely implement a quiet time regardless. So that's usually from like 12 to 2. And that's when my kids can use technology, they can read, they can take a nap if they want to, and just kind of have some time by themselves away from everybody else in their rooms. After quiet time, we always have a snack. That's just, my kids are always hungry, always, always, always. They're not even teenagers yet. I don't even know how I'm going to afford food when they become teenagers, and 3 of them are boys. But after a snack, that'll be the time where we go outside, we play outside until dinner. And then I also will have some sort of like rotational activity, kinetic sand, building something, puzzles, that kind of thing, where they might need a little bit more supervision to not make a total crazy mess of everything. But like I said, they're still getting that outside like playtime where they're not just sitting on the iPad all day. But there's lots of different ways that you can set up your summer routine. I know I've seen cute little things on Pinterest where like Monday is like make it Monday, and then Tuesday is take a trip Tuesday, Wednesday is water Wednesday, and they just do different themes for each day. That's something that you could implement. So do what works best for you and your family dynamic. But I know for me, we just don't have the capacity to spend a ton of money going out to places every single day. And we have our pool. We love the pool. My kids would just stay in the pool all day if they could. And so that's usually like our trip out. And then I like to still have quiet time because my youngest has to have that nap. And from there, it's just implementing those life skills and then having just outside playtime with some of those rotational activities. So you can easily have a memorable summer with your kids just by planning out your summer, budgeting how much you're going to spend, and making sure that you set up new routines and expectations. Don't forget to check out my 30-minute month if you are looking for a quick step-by-step guide on how to plan out your months effectively so that you can save time and have time for what matters most to you. See you next time.